Hey guys, RPGcaster again. Today we have a match between me and Silent Tom. I am not sure, I'm pretty sure this is me and Silent Tom's first match together on the channel, although we do play quite a bit. If you notice, he's not using the Vanguard mats that we usually use, he's using one of his own mats that he got at the Canberra convention that we went to a couple weeks back. I guess this is better because that means that people won't keep bugging him about putting his deck in the damage zone. Yes. So anyway, this match is between my updated Tsukuyomi deck. So I've been getting a lot of questions about what I've changed about it, so you'll get to see a lot of that in action here. And also Silent Tom's new deck, the Shadow Paladin Phantom Blaster Overlord deck. Brand new deck type, and yes, we'll just get started here right now. If I recall my hand at the moment, and he's going to start off by playing Ariane Rod and using the card change ability. Tap it, discard one card from hand, and draw one. Very good, just because basically you can't attack, you might as well use a tap down ability. I've drawn, I still don't have a grade 1 Tsukuyomi in hand. I've got all the other pieces in hand, but there we go, I get the superior write-off. And I believe in that top stack, the stuff I'm sending to the bottom, there was a double critical trigger stacked there together. You'll get to see that later in action. In case you guys didn't know, the focus of this deck is in fact sending triggers to the bottom of the deck stacked together and just being able to predict when they come up, resulting in double triggering, just finishing off the opponent late game, while Tsukuyomi deck's overwhelming hand advantage basically keeps me going until there. Although the deck is very capable of killing them before I get to that stack is kind of a finishing blow. So rides a Masquerade, attacks, missed his Blaster Dark, but I guess that's not so much of a problem simply because this is a deck focused on Phantom Blaster Overlord. Phantom Blaster Overlord only needs Phantom Blaster Dragon in Soul, so not as much of a problem as it may appear, although losing those two Masquerades, one in damage and one as a grade 2 ride, is pretty bad. I ride my grade to Tsukuyomi, Soul Charging 2, and play the Petal Fairy and just impatiently play the grade 2 and attack with it. Petal Fairy, very good card. I kind of overlooked it at the time of the deck check last year. It's basically an ammo. Allows me to ditch one card from hand and then draw one card from deck. Similar to the Blue Eyes that I was playing, but now, definitely because of the 13k Vanguards, that 5k is not very useful anymore. The 6k is a lot more useful, and Tsukuyomi, which is in the deck, you can see it in the damage zone there, is a lot better with the Petal Fairy because I'm hitting for 18,000 if Tsukuyomi is powered up. So you see he gets the critical again. I'm sighing heavily. I take the 2 damage, still no triggers have gone off. And you guys probably noticed that he played the Phantom Blaster Overlord on the rear guard. I was guessing that this is probably because he has another one in hand. So check top 5 once again, fumble one card, and I don't think I do get it off, yes. I get the superior write-off, of course. I'm still at a massive disadvantage. We've both dealt the same blows, but he has gotten a critical trigger every time. And not only that, though my counterblast is fully loaded, I actually didn't have anything to soul charge with, so I was stuck on 5 soul, could not activate Tsukuyomi's ability, very bad situation for me, and on top of that my only attackers are the grade 2 Tsukuyomis. Not a very good situation to find myself in with this deck. Trigger checking another chocolate and Inaba. Inaba will be useful, but I ditch it and draw, probably because I have another option, another way to soul charge. I'm a little iffy about Inaba's place in this deck. Inaba allows you to soul charge one card from your hand when you play it. That's very good for inserting like the grade 1 and 2 Tsukuyomis if you missed it, but I just haven't found it very useful in my testing so far, because most of the time I would have had that 6 soul if I did miss a piece, because I rode Amaterasu, meaning that I can just use Tsukuyomi's ability to force them in by rewriting. Though Inaba, I guess, might find its uses later. If there's a new grade 1 that needs to be put in the deck, it's probably the first choice for things that I want to get out. So, while I was rambling on there, Silent Tom rode his Phantom Blaster Overlord. It's one of the new 13,000 Vanguards. 13,000 power allows him to, basically puts him in a good position when guarding. It's 13,000 power on both turns, meaning I have to have at least 18,000 attack towards him for him to be guarding with a 10,000. It conserves hand, it's a very powerful unit, and I'm not sure, we'll probably not get to see the Persona Blast, but the Persona Blast is the same ability as the ability of the Phantom Blaster Dragon, plus 10,000 and plus 1 critical. So there we go, I re-ride my Tsukuyomi to get me to 6 soul, draw 2, and if I recall correctly, I actually forget to do the soul charge until I'm reminded by a side person. Nope. Okay, second one, I guess. Soul charge Silent Tom. A lot of people will argue, but the Silent Tom really isn't that useful against a 13k Vanguard. It's impossible to hit for more than 16,000 with Silent Tom in an Oracle pure deck. 16,000 is not going to be enough when challenging a Phantom Blaster Overlord. So here I am, forgetting to do the soul charge requirement from hand, but I'm sure someone will remind me here. So yeah, intending to play a Petal Fairy, but then I get reminded to do the soul charge, which I guess in a tournament would mean I'd be disqualified, but the casual match, no big stress. Soul charge the grade 1 Tsukuyomi because I really don't have any need for it anymore. I got my better supporters in my hand, I'm assuming. So again, play the Petal Fairy, play Tsukuyomi, and then play Petal Fairy like I had intended. Again, the Petal Fairy, its ability is actually very helpful for this deck. It allows me to reach my stack a lot quicker. Obviously, ditching and drawing puts me 1 card closer to that stack that I would have set up at the start with the Superior Riding ability. As well as that, it helps me shuffle out really useless cards. I get the heal trigger there, which really helps considering all the early critical triggers that I got hit with. I put all the power to my Tsukuyomi grade 2 that is in front of the Petal Fairy, and this is because I want to activate that Petal Fairy's effect. Not sure how effective it's going to be though. Hoping to push out the damage. I went for his Vanguard thinking that he probably wouldn't have guarded it, simply because if I'd gone for his rear guard, he might be more hard pressed to guard it because by the looks of his field, he's having trouble putting stuff out there this game. But no, going for the Vanguard didn't work. He doesn't want me to get that Petal Fairy deck, Petal Fairy ability off. Silent Tom knows my deck well enough to be able to counter all the plays that I make to just try and make my deck that much more effective. I'm pretty sure this is only my 5th time versing his Phantom Blaster Overlord deck. Yeah, Phantom Blaster Overlord, yeah, that's right. So plays another column to attack with, putting under pressure, attacks again. I guard knowing he's running 8 criticals in the deck. He could potentially be killing me in this move, but no, he does not kill me, but he gets that null guard out. So he attacks for 18, I take the damage with the intention of being able to have that open 2 counterblast to use Tsukuyomi's effect when I want. Tsukuyomi's effect, again, just like the Petal Fairy, allows me to get to that stack a lot quicker. Just a really good ability. Increases my hand and has that function of just speeding my way, thinning the deck down until I get to those double triggers that I would have set up at the start. While I am making my moves here, this may look a bit dumb to you guys, but like I said, I know exactly how many cards are left in my deck, exactly how many cards I have to get to till that stack. So that Psychic Bird play was there to make sure that I get to my stack. I'm playing an Uriel here, one of the new Oracle cards. If you have 6 Oracles in Soul and you play this, you can bind 1 card, bind 1 random card from deck. And the way that we're doing this on the video to ensure it's fair is there are 5 cards in his hand. If he rolls a 1 to 5, that dictates what it is. I roll the 5, that binds that card, and the ability is there as a finisher. I only run 1. A lot of people say you should run more, you shouldn't run it at all. It's a terrible card, etc, etc. But I think it's a very good card. Silent Tom knows I'm at my stack, so he plays the Null Guard. And of course I know exactly what's at the top of my deck. I played that bind card to ensure that hopefully the triggers will get through, but he had that Null Guard. So I probably have 2 critical triggers coming up, which I know. I believe I was going to add it all to Uriel, only because I really want to get that attack through and finish him off in 1 blow. Thinking back, I might have wanted to do it, but in this case, Attacking Tsukuyomi, getting him to 4 damage instead of 5 is a lot better. Either having the option of getting him to 4 damage or getting him to 6 damage. I wouldn't want to put him on 5. I don't want him activating any heal triggers on me. And another aspect of this game, Vanguard, that a lot of people overlook is that damage is not king. If you have 5 damage and your opponent has 1, that doesn't mean you're necessarily winning, because a heal trigger at any moment could turn the game. Which is why I like to stay to, you know, control the balance of damage between me and my opponent. So here I am thinking out exactly what is on top of my deck again while I play. I got the chocolate out there and blocking the attack, and he is attacking once again. He's really trying to finish me off as soon as possible. He knows that I've, in my deck's prime at the moment, I've got a lot of stacked together triggers coming up, and he does not want me at all to be able to basically turn the game around on him, because at any moment with the Tsukuyomi deck I can KO when they're still at 3 damage. So there you see me again, drawing with the Psychic Bird, forcing my way into my stack. I play another attacker and attack the Vanguard again. And Silent Tom's hand over there shows that he's trying to see how many cards are left in my deck. You are actually allowed to check the number of cards in your opponent's deck, but you're not allowed to see what's in the deck, obviously. Swinging out his Vanguard here, knowing that a double trigger is coming up. Silent Tom's probably assessing his hand, knowing he can't do anything, so he just lets that through. And there's a heal trigger and a critical trigger. And that would be the end of the game. Yeah, so interesting game here between my Tsukuyomis and the new Shadow Paladin style. As I am saying in the recording, if that attack didn't get through, I was toast. Those two were my last triggers in deck, I believe, so it was a good thing he didn't heal, otherwise that would have been his game. As always, close game between me and Silent Tom. I really do enjoy the games that I have with him, and yeah. Talking about some of the cards that we're seeing in the deck, we have the Phantom Blaster Overlord. Phantom Blaster Overlord is an 11,000 power. It loses the 11,000, becomes a 9,000 if you're playing any other clan members, like any cards of any other clans on the field, meaning it just stops you from being able to basically mix Phantom Blaster Overlord in other decks. As well as that, it gains that 2k static, as we saw in that game, when Phantom Blaster Dragon is in Soul. And as well as that, he has the ability, Persona Blast. Persona Blast, I don't think I've actually mentioned the meaning for before. Persona Blast is one of the new terms, which basically is a payment cost, like Counter Blast or Soul Blast. It basically means you just got to discard 1 copy of the same card you're activating the ability for. So for example, a Persona Blast for Phantom Blaster Overlord, discard himself from hand. So it's a Persona Blast of 1 and a Counter Blast of 3 to give him 10,000 power boost and 1 critical boost. I'm not really sure whether that's a good thing, simply because it's a lot harder to get off than the Phantom Blaster Dragon. However, the unit shouldn't be looked at for its Persona Blast so much as the 13,000 power. The 13,000 power really changes the flow of the game if you can get that up there. So it's definitely a big, strong point of the deck. On the other hand, if you look at the changes to my deck, we had Uriel. Uriel basically binds 1 card from hand. I'm not sure how effective the bind was in that game, but if you hit a null guard, that spells defeat for your opponent. If you were watching that game closely while I was rambling, he actually dropped a null guard against my Vanguard and then was forced to drop a null guard by ditching a null guard. Maybe he would have been able to save that last null guard had he had that other card for bind, which is why bind is a very good card late game. It usually doesn't matter what you bind from their hand. If you bind a grade 3, that could have been fuel for their null guard. If you bind a 5,000 power unit, that 5,000 shield could have been what they needed to survive. So Uriel is a very good card to add into an Oracle deck. I wouldn't run more than 1 personally. Not in a Tsukuyomi deck anyway. It's one of those cards you kind of just play 1 of. In the situation where it comes out, it's useful. If you overplay it, just imagine riding that as a backup Vanguard over Amaterasu. You wouldn't be able to get your soul up there to activate Tsukuyomi's ability, and you wouldn't really be able to make a comeback because your Vanguard is basically a 10,000 power vanilla. sorry about that. Looking at other cards in my deck, since people have asked, Tsukuyomi is a very, very, very good card. Probably the better ones of the new 9Ks that become 12K, simply because getting 6 Oracles in Soul is a cinch for the Tsukuyomi deck build. This card being added actually makes the stand triggers more viable. I haven't tested this myself yet, but I definitely intend to give it a shot. Probably swapping my draw triggers out for stand triggers, simply because the draw triggers weren't doing anything in that match, and they haven't really been doing anything for a few matches. So I don't really think that the Tsukuyomi build needs draw triggers, simply because Tsukuyomi's ability helps you get that hand advantage up anyway, and usually before you start running out of hand, you're able to get to your deck stack and finish the opponent off. Real strength of the Tsukuyomi deck is its stability. A lot of people will argue this with me, but the Superior Ride increases the stability of Tsukuyomi deck, and the ability to control what triggers are coming up in the late game just makes it all that much more stable. And that kind of consistency and stability in Vanguard is something that's very rarely seen. I mean, something that kind of overcomes the luck-based mechanic of the triggers and makes that come under your control is a very good thing. So yeah, that's my Tsukuyomi deck. That's Silent Tom's Shadow Paladin deck. Hopefully we'll be able to do more deck checks in the future. I'm actually toying around with the new editing software and seeing what I can do with it before I attempt any more deck checks. So you'll be seeing a lot of matches with commentary from us from now on. Hopefully you have been enjoying this. Next week I think we'll probably have another good match. Probably Aya versus Psychologist. No promises, but let's see how that goes. If you have any suggestions for more matches or videos you want to see, leave them down below, and we will see you next time. I'm RPGcaster, signing off.